Everyone's gathered. The moment is perfect. Someone pulls out their phone, shouts, "Okay, group photo," and just like that, one person in the room does this subtle little disappearing act. They step back. They offer to take the photo. They suddenly remember they left something in the car. And if they do end up in the shot, they're the ones slightly behind someone's shoulder, half-cropped, looking like they're auditioning for a witness protection documentary. Maybe that's you. Maybe it's your friend. Maybe it's the colleague who has somehow avoided every office photo for 3 years running, and yet the company website still has a perfectly good headshot of them from 2019 that they clearly approved of once. So what exactly is going on? Because here's the thing. Avoiding group photos isn't just shyness. It isn't vanity in reverse. It's a window into something much more layered: how people see themselves, how they relate to belonging, and what it actually means to be documented in a moment. Stay with me, because some of what's underneath this habit is genuinely fascinating. The self-image gap. Picture this. Someone spends a perfectly enjoyable evening at a dinner party. They're laughing, they're present, they feel good. Then, someone raises a phone. And in that split second, something shifts. The person they've been all evening, warm, relaxed, real, suddenly gets replaced in their mind by a static, frozen, slightly unflattering version of themselves that the camera is about to confirm. So they step out of frame. Psychologists call the internal experience behind this the self-image gap, the distance between how you feel on the inside and how you fear you appear on the outside. For people who live with this gap, photographs feel less like memories and more like verdicts. The camera doesn't capture who they were in that moment, it captures evidence of every insecurity they've been quietly managing. And once that photo exists, once it's shared, saved, posted, it's out of their hands. The verdict is public. This isn't narcissism. It's actually closer to the opposite. It's a deep, persistent belief that the camera will tell a truth about them that contradicts the one they're trying to live. Then there's a different type entirely, and this one might surprise you. This person doesn't avoid group photos because they hate how they look. They avoid them because they have zero control over the outcome. Who took it? What angle? What light? Whether they got to approve it before it was sent to the family WhatsApp group where their aunt will screenshot it and use it forever. These are highly self-aware, often perfectionistic people who have a very specific, curated relationship with their own image. They're not anti-photo, they might actually love photography. But a group photo is chaos. It's 12 people mid-blink, someone's eyes are half closed, someone's doing a weird thing with their mouth, and somehow they're the one who got caught doing the weird thing with their mouth. No, absolutely not. The psychology here is rooted in what researchers call personal image control, the need to manage how one is perceived across social contexts. For these individuals, stepping out of a chaotic group shot isn't avoidance, it's curation. They'd happily take a great photo on their own terms, just not this one, not like this. The invisible one. Here's a quieter story. Someone who avoids group photos not because they fear looking bad, but because they genuinely struggle to believe they belong in the frame at all. They'll say things like, "I'll just sit this one out," or "You don't need me in it," and they mean it, not as false modesty. They actually feel, somewhere underneath the words, that the photo is better without them in it, that they're optional, peripheral. This connects directly to attachment patterns and what psychology describes as chronic self-exclusion, a behavior common in people who grew up feeling like they were on the edges of their social world rather than the center of it. The group photo becomes a physical metaphor for a question they've been quietly asking their whole lives. Do I actually belong here? And rather than risk the answer being no, they remove themselves before anyone else can. If this one lands close to home, just sit with that for a second, because the instinct to make yourself smaller than you are is rarely about the photo. Some people avoid group photos not in the moment, but before it even happens. They're already thinking, who will post this? Where will it go? Who will see it? What will they think? Will it come up years from now? Is this the kind of thing that lives forever? By the time the phone is raised, they've already run 17 scenarios and none of them ended well. This is anxiety operating in a very specific register, what psychologists sometimes frame as anticipatory social threat. The threat isn't real yet, but the nervous system doesn't know that. It's responding to an imagined future audience, a future context, a future moment in which this photo somehow becomes a problem. So, the safest move is, don't be in it. In a world where every image is a click away from being shared, saved, or screenshotted out of context, this response isn't entirely irrational. But for some people, it runs so deep it robs them of being present in moments that are genuinely theirs to keep. And this one doesn't get talked about enough, there's the person who avoids group photos because photographs hurt, not conceptually, actually emotionally. Because somewhere in their history, a photo became the last image of something. A relationship that ended, a person who's gone, a version of themselves they can no longer access. For these people, the camera doesn't just document the present, it turns it into the past, instantly. And the past is a complicated place. This is a form of what grief researchers describe as anticipatory mourning. The moment is still happening, but part of them already knows it will eventually be over, and the photo is the proof of that. So they hang back, not out of vanity, not out of control, but out of a kind of tenderness for the now that photography feels like it threatens. So, which one are you? The one managing the gap between who you feel like and who you fear you look like? The curator who needs the right conditions? The one who quietly wonders if the frame is really yours to stand in? The overthinker running scenarios 3 steps ahead? Or the one who's learned that photos have weight, and sometimes that weight is too much for a Tuesday evening? There's no wrong answer here. Avoiding group photos is never just about the photo. It's about how we see ourselves, how we imagine being seen, and what we believe we deserve to be part of. If any of this felt a little too familiar, drop a comment below. Which type fits you? And if you want more of this kind of quiet, honest look at the psychology hiding in everyday behavior, subscribe. New video soon, and I promise, no group photo required.